Wasteland 3 is a turn-based tactical RPG, and it's an RPG in the broadest sense possible, in that you can make your own character and how much you can customize and take part in the world. You're not limited in a very linear track. You can steal stuff from people's houses. If you decide to shoot someone, that initiates combat. That kind of RPG where there is very few restrictions. The first one came out in the late 80s, and you'll notice it seems to share a lot with the Fallout series, but it is the inspiration for it, which came out later, actually, in the late 90s. That's why there's a similarity with the openness in the RPG mechanics aspect, the setting, of course, and the kind of humor. So if you're interested in Fallout, this is kind of right up your alley. It is on all the usual consoles except Nintendo Switch, and you can get this on Game Pass on both the Xbox One console as well as PC. You set out with the Desert Rangers, a group from Arizona seeking help from the state of Colorado in the post-apocalyptic United States. Things go awry as you cross a river. Some mines are set, it blows up, and then it's just the two of you. You first meet with the dad of the group, and then he wants to control his kids or bring them back, and then you meet with them. And then you quickly get into this gray type of a story where you choose your own adventure and your choice. The turn-based combat is done from the isometric perspective. Everything you do takes up, they call it action points. Attacking, reloading, using an item, having a defensive posture, or ambushing, which is their way to attack a unit if it gets too close while not using action points. And you have a lot of choice here in terms of how you customize your unit that will affect how they behave in combat. And you have a lot of characters to be working with. You don't have like just a squad of 4, I believe it is up to 6 or 7. And those, going back to the RPG aspect, I lost based on choices that I made. Again, not linear in any way. The characters themselves, you choose the class that you have, so they can only use certain items or even weapons. Like you have one that can only use assault rifles, and you can upgrade this though over time. The difficulty, and they have a good variety here, depending on if you want to go in the more story direction, have it be very easy where you don't have to really dig into the mechanics, to hard where you have things like friendly fire, or the enemies are very punishing where you have to think about every move. So a good, and they do this with modern games nowadays, but a good variety here, and for all types of gamers, from story to ones that really want to dig into the gameplay. Starting out, you have just the 2 characters because of the story that the whole group is wiped out except for 2 guys. You have 2 choices here. You can pick some preset characters, which is what I did. I picked the punk rockers. Or you can customize. You see in the bottom there, you can have custom characters, which I recommend doing. It's really that type of a game, the open-ended RPG, choose your own adventure. But I picked these 2, and you can see there's things like sniper rifles, melee combat in the top on each side. That means that they can be using those weapons. The game does the limitations by the character rather than the weapons that you picked up. I picked up all kinds of weapons, but I knew I was limited to, okay, this character is only automatic weapons, this character is only small arms, sniper, etc., that sort of thing. But you do want a variety to be successful. You don't want all of them to have the same weapons, because you're going to be picking up a variety as you go through the game, and you want to have someone that can be using them. But again, the best way is to customize and make your own character, and you can do a lot, not only their appearance but their attributes, what they can do, things like lock picking, or if they're like adept at technology, like a medic, that type of thing. I first played this on PC, where I have above and beyond the recommended settings, and I had this lag issue. Then I tried it on my OG Xbox One, no problems whatsoever. After I repeatedly tried it, though, on the PC, then it started to work for me. So, rebooted a couple times, and it should eventually work, but it was a problem initially for me. After a half dozen hours, I recommend buying it. It's a very big game, even though it is a full price one. You're getting more than enough content, but ultimately, because it succeeds as being a choose-your-own-adventure RPG. The choices you make have an impact. It is not linear where this is supposed to happen, then this is supposed to happen. You decide dialogue options, and as an example, I met with a group that I had to save from this other group, and I made choices, and then they left. There was no combat there, but then the group that I stayed with, I can do what I want. Like if I try to steal something, they react, and I think I shot one guy, and then a guy that was with me left because he was with a different group, and then the whole group combat initiated, and they all attacked me. So it does succeed in being that type of a game, and it is massive, so I would buy it. If you're not really into these, though, I would check it out through Game Pass initially first. Also, multiplayer did not work for me at this time, though this game doesn't really need it, given the type of game that it is. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe if you really liked it. If you just like to give it a dislike, check out the links below for Game Pass if you are picking it up there, and I will. See you next time.